Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, welcome to Fairfield Today. Paul Jasson with you as we telecast from the downtown lobby of Fairfield Federal. Nice to have you with us, and as we do the show today, it's a beautiful day outside, so thanks for joining us. It's always an honor to do this show each and every year. We get to have a one-time opportunity to talk to the Athena Award winner, and that's an award in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce and the Robert McGraw family that they put on every year, and it's a great award. They just had it last week. We're honored to have the most recent recipient with us, Judge Terre Vandervoort. Judge, welcome here.
Thank you.
Little different setting for you at the shindig the other night.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
It's a nice event anyway. Of course, the Chamber does such a super job down at the mill to have that, but then to see your face, and it's always a big deal because it's always a surprise, and as John McGraw reads it up there, I'm sure it starts to sink in. Gee, that's my life going on here. I mean,
yeah.
Did it hit you then?
Well, it's pretty hard when you say what my first job is, law director, because I don't think anybody else wants the job. So
it's been a who's who of people that's done that. I think John Huddle, Chuck Reed, I think there's some great people in the past.
Right, but long periods of time. Like
Yes,
I was, I
yes.
think, 20 years, and John was probably, 30 years.
That's
so
probably right.
I was like, well, there's not many of us out there.
That's right, yeah.
So, and not many, actually, I was the first woman.
You're the first woman.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We can say that a lot throughout the things we'll talk with you today, because you've been a bit of a groundbreaker in the things you've done. We'll talk about how that kind of came about with your family background. And let me introduce everybody here. Have John McGraw, who represents the McGraw family, who each and every year presents this award, since 1985, John?
Yes, sir.
1985, this has been going on. And as you look at the list of recipients of this, John and I were talking before you got here, Judge, and it's really, at least in my mind, kind of a who's who of women, and you see the shoulders you stand on to get this award. And then John brought up a good fact. He said, had we not had any of these women in the community, we'd be a far poorer community, because these women have been super accomplishing in everything they've done, and you have to be so proud of the names that you've named so far.
We are. I'm really privileged to be able to say my dad had the foresight to recognize that women are a very, very important part of every community, and to be able to give them an opportunity to receive this award and get the recognition that they so deserve. It's just an honor for my family to be able to continue to do that.
Well, we said it started in 1985, so wasn't your dad in conjunction with Oldsmobile back then? Is that kind of, they had other awards like this around?
That's where it started. Oldsmobile division, a division of General Motors, which is no longer a part of General Motors. They closed this down, but they had the foresight to say women are a vital part of the car industry, in that they're buyers, they work for the car industry, and Oldsmobile wanted to take this recognition nationwide. So they just decided to do it through their existing Oldsmobile dealer network that had almost 3,500 dealers nationwide back in the early 80s.
I wonder how many are still going on today, now that Olds is a name of the past. There got to be very few.
Yeah, there aren't many families that continued after they closed the Oldsmobile division down. So, and we're pretty proud that we're one of the early families that got on board with this, and we've continued to do it.
And Terry, I noticed that, and you've probably attended maybe not all of these awards, but I'm sure you've attended your share as being in a public position you are as a judge. But I was struck by, they always have the most recent award winner, in this case Melissa Walker, who was just here in your seat a year ago. We were welcome to have her here. But one thing she said that struck me is she's up there and just making a few opening remarks, getting ready to introduce who the new award winner will be. And she was talking about how much her family meant to her, her mom and dad, and the things they instilled in her. And then when you got up there and you talked about a lot of those same things about, I guess, your mom and dad giving you the freedom to say, yes, you're a girl, but, and as John said, don't let that stop you in any way.
Right. I think it's sort of like a life vest that you put on, and you go and you learn to swim, but you've got your family there just to make sure that you can stay above water if you're not doing it quite strong enough. So, and certainly Melissa Walker, I grew up going to get my shoes at Walker's Shoes, and then I had the privilege of taking my boys there, and they had the treasure chest, and no, you don't get to the treasure chest till you get the shoe business done. And so there's like a lot of legacy there, and so I was really privileged to follow in her shoes.
Well, it's I can remember, of course, I was kind of privileged a little bit to know who the award winner was going to be, so I knew. I didn't tell anybody at my table, it was going to be a secret, but when they were up there and John is reading your bio, I kind of looked over and at some point you had your head down. It must have dawned on you then that, my golly, that's me.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. I think, especially in public service, one way you survive is you just sort of, you just pull your boots on and you go and you do it. And there's not a lot of positive affirmation. There's, you don't make everybody happy when you're doing your job right. And I used to, I don't know that I'd say laugh, but each year when I was running for law director, I would see the mayor's vote numbers, the auditor's vote numbers, and then there's Terry's vote numbers. It's like, because you're doing zoning, you're doing criminal work, you're doing things that don't make people always happy. And so public service is you take the good and the bad. And I know in private practice or in when you own a business, the same is true. Although you try to say the customer is always right and you try to make good, and there's not much good I can do if you're charged with an OVI. I can't make you happy. I'm making the community safe, but you're not happy, so you're not going to most likely vote for me. So in that moment when that starts to read, it just sort of came over me as a wave that, wow, some people did see everything I was doing, even though I was just on blinders. And also when you raise a family in the midst of all of that, I made sacrifices. So I didn't do as much in the community as far as I sort of tried to have a guide that I didn't do things after 5 o'clock, so that I could do the sporting. I was involved in the soccer team. I actually announced for the Lancaster Gales varsity soccer for 7 years. So that was one sacrifice I made.
At the level of achievement you've had in Lancaster and Fairfield County, again, being a judge here, I'm sure when you think about those sacrifices, there are, along the years, a little pangs of guilt because maybe you weren't there to be able to fix breakfast every day or have lunch like some moms are able to do, but not all working moms are able to do that. So I guess, as you say, it's this duality. How do I do my job the best that I can do it, because that's the only way I know you would do it, but then be a great mom to my kids too. So that's always how you have to weigh things, I imagine.
And I think, of course, I think being a stay-at-home mom is the hardest job. There is no affirmation. There might be an occasional hug, but it is such a difficult job. And so I bend on a knee because that is the hardest job to do. That's what my mom did. But a lot of women now need dual income. And so that was my household. And so, yes, you don't get to make, I think I said at the banquet, like at the kids' events, some people are able to bring really lovely desserts, and I'm just literally running in Kroger's. What is on those nasty orange cupcakes again with the glob of gross icing on it, and that's what you're taking to an event. But you just there's sort of a camaraderie with other working moms, like, oh, yours is just as bad as mine. So you kind of
Your little club, you get to talk about
yes.
that.
And I think it makes me a better employer as well, because I understand what the school has called "My Child Has Fallen" means to a mom, that I need to have the grace to figure out a way for her to leave, or for a dad to leave. This should go for either parent, that I'm very sensitive to. I want to help, even in the public sector, meet our responsibilities to the public, but also allow you to have the grace to do what you need to do with your family.
And John, I think, as we talked earlier, I think your dad, even though he's been gone a while now, would be very pleased in these award winners that he wasn't able to see named, and certainly to Judge Vandervoort, the kind of people that receive the award, the high quality that still represents this award.
You have that list in front of you, and you look at all those that are mothers as well. And for them to be able to do what they've done, and they've done it consistently, not for a year, but years, plural, that's the commitment that this award is trying to recognize, that they just aren't a flash in the pan. They have not changed their principles, their morals, or anything. They've tried to do, they're raising their families properly, doing their jobs properly, and forging ahead through the good times and the bad times. So it's truly an award that is earned. It's not won, it's earned.
With John McGraw and Judge Terre Vandervoort, and we've got a couple minutes left, Judge, and I wanted to mention that I could tell it was a very emotional moment when you got to see your family, who had hid in the background, because obviously they can't be here. Your whole family's here. Gee, I wonder why. So they hid, and they only came out after you received the award, and I know that meant a lot to you to have your family there.
I didn't actually see them until after I was done speaking, and I think for me that probably made it easier, because I spoke. I think I'm just used to, like, my family did not participate in my political. I would just go to banquets by myself, and because they needed to focus on what they were doing, and so I'm used to just going places by myself, and so I spoke as though they weren't there, and I spoke from my heart in their absence, and then I'm like, wow, you're actually here and you actually heard me say that. Now I'm so embarrassed. But like, my mom was there, and my mom is 86, and she is in the final stages of escorting my dad through Alzheimer's. And that's very difficult on both of them. And she is an example of a strong woman in a later phase of life, that her job right now is probably harder than mine. And so there are all these stages that women go through, and so that was, for her to get there, people thought, oh, it's nice your mom was there. I mean, that was a lot. Caregivers lined up, and a lot of things happened to pull her away. And then my son drove 4 hours to be there. And so, yes, a lot of people. And then, as women are, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry to inconvenience you all, But yeah, it was a great surprise.
Well, it was a wonderful moment to have that. It's a pleasure to have with us today Fairfield County Juvenile and Probate Judge Terre Vandervoort, who was the most recent Athena Award winner, again presented by the McGraw Family Foundation and the Chamber of Commerce. And John, thanks so much for this award. And as you say, no one does this for a one-year flash in the pan. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award. All the ones I've ever seen on that list, and no, that's certainly the case, and it's true here today. So Terry, thank you, and
thank you.
Congratulations on being recognized. I think you have for years and years, but it's nice to see that every now and then.
It is.
And thank you for what you do for our community.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you.
We're glad you're here. We'll look forward to you next year, John.
Yes, sir.
And your speech next year as you present you've got a year to prepare this. Judge Vandervoort and John McGraw with us on Fairfield Today. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference. Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
The reason why I do what I do is I love helping people, and I really love to work on understanding and striving to improve the lives of the people in our community. Being in Fairfield County is having a network of people around you.
I am driven by my belief that every individual deserves an opportunity to achieve mental and emotional balance, and I'm very passionate about contributing to that process.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. We sure appreciate John McGraw and Judge Terre Vandervoort coming in talking about the Athena Award. That's just a great thing. We love having that show on each and every year. And another one we get to have on every year when you talk about great events going around Lancaster and Fairfield County is the annual truck and track. I guess we would go with tractors.
Probably.
Tractor and Truck Show. Yep. Coming up here, the 29th annual. This is Doug Shaw, the President Emeritus for many years, and we hope that doesn't change because we love having Doug on. It's here again. Man, it just seems to...
Time flies.
A year goes quickly, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure does.
29 years of this, and how many years have you been involved in it?
All of them.
Yeah.
The Tractor Club started in '89, and then we started the shows in, I think, mid-'90s or whatever, 29 years ago it was.
Do I remember you was it the first ones down at Alley Park? Was that the first ones?
Yeah, we were down there for years.
And that was a terrific place to have it. I mean, outdoors. I mean, when you talk about tractor or more tractors than anything back then. But I guess a downside of being successful is you grow.
Yeah, we outgrew it down there. It was a great park. We loved it there. But parking was probably the biggest issue.
Sure.
And so we moved back up to the fairgrounds in 17 and been there ever since. So
it's the 29th annual one. It's August 16th, 17th, 18th. So really it's coming up this weekend at the fairgrounds. So Friday and Saturday it's going to be 8 to 5, Sunday 9 to 4. I see you've got tractor pulls, a lot of tractor pulls.
Yeah, on Friday night we're going to do what they call fun pull, and that's for club members only. We're just going to go out there and play. That's Friday night, and then we'll have a human tractor pull too on Friday night.
Ooh.
And that is a 4-man team. See how strong you are and how fast you can pull a tractor. It's kind of fun. So that was something we added on Friday night.
Yeah.
So, and then Saturday we'll have a regular tractor pull. There'll be antique tractors, but they'll be souped up antique tractors. So that's on Saturday. So.
How many tractors you think will be out there total?
Oh, there'll probably be 300-400.
Wow.
So
it's amazing that antique tractors have such a draw.
Oh yeah.
I mean, among people like you, understandable. But people love to see that. I guess maybe it's something yesteryear.
Well, yeah, you grew up with it and around that, and that just brings back a lot of memories. We got one club member, and we're featuring Case this year, Greg Gruby up at Baltimore. He's probably going to bring 30 or 35. And so, I mean, he's bringing them all. He's emptying the barns out. So that's a good thing. So,
It's
when
amazing.
we feature his brand, he's got to get them out.
Well, this is you only get one time, and this may be it.
I think every 7 years, I think he said he
rotates
gets,
around. Okay, Case, because that's the featured brand this year.
Right,
Case,
right.
Okay.
Right.
I know you got food vendors there this year.
We got food vendors. We got 4-H selling food. We've got, I don't know, 6 or 8 other different vendors. So a lot of variety.
So and again,
and a reasonable price.
It's just family oriented.
Right.
This is something for and I know you enjoy that maybe most of anything. Seeing little kids come in and get drawn to the tractors.
Exactly.
And maybe their dad doesn't have a tractor, but maybe he's just there.
Right.
And all of a sudden they get the bug bites them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we got kids games and so forth. We got a petting zoo for the kids, and so this year we added a basketball wagon where the kids can shoot hoops and so forth.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is. We just made that last winter. So
now, in terms of demonstrations, what do you demonstrate?
we thrash wheat, we bale straw, we have a sawmill cutting logs, and we sell the lumber at the end of the show. So if anybody's interested in lumber, there's lumber for sale on Sunday afternoon at the auction. There'll be shelling corn. There's going to be a rock crusher. Just a lot of different things. Mostly run off steam engines, but some off tractors.
Now, will they be out more toward the center of the...
Yeah, the infield.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you guys pretty much take up the whole fairgrounds anymore, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It's really growing. So, and that's another thing. We just needed the space. So that's all there is to it. And we like the fairgrounds. They treat us good there, and it's a beautiful place. And So
it's the 29th annual Tractor and Truck Show. It's August 16th, 17th, and 18th. That's coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday, 8 to 5. Sunday, 9 to 4. And you got a really cool book out that we're looking here in the schedule events. You got some full days coming up.
Yes, we do, and full days getting ready for it too. But I do want to say one thing, and I've never mentioned this before. This book that we put out, this program book, all these people that put ads in here, that's how we keep it a free show.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm president, I want to try to keep it a free show. I mean, that way the families can come, spend all day. They don't have to spend a dime if they don't want to. There's reasonable food from the 4-H. They always sell food cheap for
and it's
families.
good food.
And it's good food. And so it's just a good thing. It's a free show. Anybody can come, whether you like tractors or not. Maybe just come to eat. Just check out flea market, vendors and so forth. So it's a good thing.
Well, it's the Fairfield County Antique Tractor Club, and are you continuing to grow? You kind of phased out a little. I mean, leveled off.
We kind of leveled off right now. We're a little over 400 members.
Oh, wow.
And we got about 60 that come to every meeting.
Is that all around just Fairfield County?
No, that's statewide and other states.
Okay.
But we have about 60 that come to every meeting once a month, and we meet out at the fairgrounds now at the Records Hall, and first Thursday of the month, so 7:30 if anybody wants to come and hang out with us. So it's a good thing. So
I imagine there's other antique tractor shows, or the only one I'm aware of, obviously, is this one here. But I have to say this has to be one of the at first one of the older ones, but I have to think it's one of the larger ones.
Well, and the other thing too is we're continually growing. A lot of the clubs now are starting to back off because of age.
Yeah.
And I'm getting old.
And you understand that.
Yeah, and I understand that quite well. So we need to get
We used to have you on, your beard was dark.
Well, yeah.
You put a little paint in it to make it look good.
Yeah. But, the clubs are getting older and we're getting older, and so we need to get young guys involved.
Sure.
And so that's one thing we're really trying to push for, and so we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's just a great organization. You do so many fun things. I mean, and again, it's worth mentioning all that. And we've got these really cool books that we got here we're looking at, and it's a pretty thick book. That's because there's a lot of people that help you out.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. I mean, we sell ads in this book, and that's what keeps us a free show. And if we don't have the support of the community, then we're going to have to start charging, and then that
a whole nother set of
and then you have to have more help, and it's just
legal issue.
It's just way better to come and have a good time.
Well, I think that's the fun thing about is your club is that it's really just not a lot of pressure. Just come out again. You don't have to spend a dime.
Nope.
Bring the kids out. Hopefully,
Right.
bring the family out. And let the children experience some of these things that maybe you got to as a kid.
Right. And maybe the adults don't like tractors, but I don't know a kid that doesn't like tractors. You know, that's the thing.
And the steam ones are just as a
yes.
kid. I mean, it's like watching a liftoff at Cape Canaveral. It's magic.
Right. And Friday and Saturday night at dark or at dusk, they're going to do a spark show, which they've never done, which is fantastic. If you want to stop out for that. On Saturday, I believe they're going to do Steam Engine 101. And they're going to kind of show people how the steam engine actually works. They got a breakdown of it, and they're going to give a little schooling if you want to stop by and see.
Education.
Yes, yeah. So I thought that was a good idea. So.
Sure. Again, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 16th, 17th, and 18th. You got toy show and sale, flea markets, all 3 days. Field demonstrations, you talked about them. Food out there, things for the kids. It's free to get in.
Right.
Just come out and have a heck of a good time.
Yep, come and enjoy it.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
It's exciting. So we hope for a day like this, 3 days like this.
Well, maybe a little cooler.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot out there today.
Yeah.
But that's better than rain.
Better than rain.
But we need rain.
So it's this weekend, the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Best of luck out there. Doug Shaw, President, Fairfield County Antique Tractor Club. Get all the boys and girls out there and just have a blast.
Yep, there you go.
I know you will.
I hope so.
Thanks for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.